Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from evidence of conspiracies you've never heard of to clips of cryptids you never even knew were out there. Ready to have your mind blown? Well, let's dive right in. Starting today's episode, we've got a bit of a weird one. What do you do when you're burning down a house and then realize that there's someone or something walking in it? Before you answer, rush in and rescue the person, bear in mind that you're a firefighter and you double and triple check to make sure there was no one in the abandoned property before starting the fire. What would you do in a situation like that? For TikTok user dog.k926 and her team, this was an unprecedented situation that left them shocked. After getting close to the property to confirm that it was indeed someone inside, they didn't find anyone, which left them wondering what they had seen. Naturally, when the clip made its way online, people had theories and suspicions. Some felt that they had encountered what was a ghost of someone who lived on the property. Others felt that there had to be a more grounded explanation and believed that this was most likely a curtain. I've watched the clip over and over, and I believe it's more likely that this was some sort of humanoid being than a curtain. I could be wrong, though. Anyway, kindly share your thoughts. What do you see and what explanations can you come up with? Speaking of strange humanoid creatures, take a look at this one too. Unlike the first, this was captured by a Trailcam somewhere on a large private property. To put things in context, there's an individual driving a four-wheeler through the woods. He was supposed to be out there alone with his catch, but when you look at the image captured by the Trailcam, it looks as though there was a much taller being out there with him. He had not seen this being or felt any weird presence. He only saw it whilst going through the pictures captured by the Trailcam to see which animals had recently roamed his land. He shared the image online, and men were quick to point out the possibility of it being a paranormal being. While that's interesting take, not many agreed. Some felt it's nothing more than a lens effect of a four-wheeler shining into the trail camera's lens. Logically speaking, that makes a lot of sense, but when it comes to these things, logic doesn't always apply. Either way, you've seen the clip, so what's your take? Next, we got this clip that showed up in the community some days ago. It was uploaded by a family member that had just relocated to their new home. What was supposed to be a joyous and exciting time for members of the family appears to have been taken over by strange and paranormal experiences. While they hadn't managed to capture any on camera, the one on your screen was recently captured in their work area. Did you see it? There's a large shadow in there moving from left to right. There's no moving light source or object to cast this shadow. Instead, the shadow appears to be conscious and has a mind of its own. This made the family conclude there's more to it. After many paranormal experiences the parents had experienced, coming to this conclusion shouldn't have been difficult. Anyway, you've seen the clip, so what do you think? Does this look normal to you? The bird appears to be flying and flapping its wings, yet somehow it's hovering in the same position. How? It's not high enough for me to say it's hovering at insane speeds, making it look stagnant, yet somehow it's just there, flapping its wings and being in the same spot. I wanted to say this was a glitch in the Matrix, but Jeremy, one of our new interns for the studio, is saying that it's a bird of prey, and it's something that usually does this to scope out their next victim or food. He also mentioned this could be a perspective thing, but I'm not overly convinced. What do you say? Shadows usually follow one simple rule. They're cast by something real, something solid. There needs to be an actual object for light to bounce off of to create a shadow. But in the paranormal community, we've seen countless cases where this rule doesn't seem to apply. Take this next incident, for example. A man was out for a walk, strolling along the pavement when he noticed something strange. There was a shadow. At first, it looked like the shadow of a regular person until he realized there was no one there. The shadow was clearly humanoid, shorter than an average adult but distinct in shape. The man pans his camera around to show his surroundings, and yet there's nothing there. No one was standing nearby, no figure, no statue, no object that could be responsible for casting a defined shadow. He doesn't tilt the camera up, though, and that small detail has people debating. Some speculate it might have been a balloon floating above him casting the shadow downward. That would explain the shape, maybe, but others aren't convinced. Because here's the thing. There's a quality to this shadow that just doesn't seem right. It's too solid. So if it wasn't a balloon, then what was it? A family had recently put their beloved dog to rest. It was a heartbreaking loss, and they truly loved their dog and missed it deeply. But then, something strange and touching happened. One day, the mother and the daughters noticed something unusual on the glass door leading outside. At first, they thought their eyes were playing tricks on them, but no, there it was. The silhouette of their dog was sitting just outside the door in the exact way it used to when it wanted to be let in. The familiar shape and posture were unmistakable. They were overwhelmed with emotion. It was as if their dog had come back to visit them, even for just a moment. The shadowy figure stayed there quietly before slowly fading away. It didn't feel scary. It felt comforting, like a final goodbye, or maybe a sign that their loyal companion was still watching over them. We have a chilling piece of footage that was shared by a woman who woke up in the middle of the night for a quick midnight snack and ended up getting more than she bargained for. As she was seated in the kitchen munching away some cereal, a childlike voice suddenly called out, "Mom." Startled, she looked around, but there was no one there. Here's the truly creepy part. She doesn't have any children. She lives with a roommate who is also an adult and who is fast asleep in their room at the time. So who or what had called out to her? To this day, she has no explanation. Even weirder, some people have pointed out an eerie pattern online. They claim instead of the ghost saying "Mom," it said "Hey." No one knows exactly why. Some think it's the way spirits try to mimic or reach out to people, especially women.
Bizarre, I know, but did she really experience something paranormal? Or was it just a hoax?
Oh, Jesus! Jackie? Hi.
Up next, we have a chilling video that was shared by a man who was home alone with his toddler son. He was casually live streaming when something very unexpected happened. In the corner of the room, near the curtains, a strange figure suddenly appeared. It was a pale woman, almost ghostly white, dressed in what looked like Victorian-era clothing. She wasn't moving, she just stood there, completely still, staring at the man and his son. And yes, it's just as creepy as it sounds. People in the comments were quick to point out that the house looks old, and many believe that this might be the spirit of a former resident. The way she appears and just watches in silence, there's something deeply unsettling about it. Next, take a good look at this clip and tell me if you see anything wrong. If you said that branch is floating, then you're absolutely correct. It's a branch all by itself in the air and somehow it's perfectly fine. Naturally, everyone's reaction is glitch, but take a good look and tell me how it's there. We featured the best response in our next video. Bears are massive creatures, and usually they'll eat just about anything to satisfy their enormous appetite, but a group of men recently had a very unusual encounter with one. They offered the bear a burger, and not just any burger, a McDonald's burger, and to their surprise, the bear refused to eat it. It sniffed the burger and even gave it a little nudge with its nose, but then turned away. At one point, one of the men even tried placing the burger close to its mouth, but the bear just spat it out. Now, that's odd. Why would a bear turn down fast food? Some people believe that maybe the bear knew better. With its powerful sense of smell, it probably picked up on all the preservatives and artificial stuff packed into a burger and decided no thanks. Others think the bear was simply full. Maybe it had already eaten and didn't feel like indulging any further. Still, it's not every day that a wild animal turns down a burger. If even a bear won't eat it, well, should we?
На, держи. Мясо давай, Том, мясо. Вот. Том, неправильно. Давай. Том.
Не хочет.
Я не хочу. Нет.
Have you ever had the feeling that someone was in bed with you? Well, no, me neither, but the person you're watching in the clip right now had that exact sensation. And the funny thing is, she really did see something moving in her bed. Weird, right? The explanation many gave for this was she got a spirit in her bed. Personally, I think so too, but you guys can share your theories on this one. Personally, I may have never returned to that room after this, but hey, each to their own. This next moment was caught live, literally. This man was streaming from home when he suddenly heard something that made him freeze. It was his girlfriend's voice calling him from the other room. Even the dog heard, so its ears perked up instantly, reacting to the familiar voice. But here's where things get weird. His girlfriend wasn't home, she'd gone out hours ago. So who or what was calling him? Freaking out, he grabbed his phone and called her. When she picked up, she was calm but serious. She told him not to respond to whatever it was. That advice was chilling, because it lines up perfectly with something we've heard about in paranormal world: mimics. These entities copy the voices of people we know, friends, family, anyone close. They use their voices to get us to open doors, come closer, or speak back. According to the lore, they need an invitation. Just like a vampire, they can't fully come in unless you let them. And in this case, calling out or walking toward the voice might have just been the invitation it needed. So if you ever hear a loved one calling from another room when they're not supposed to be there, it's best to not answer.
Look, y'all about to see how fake she is if you guys see her leave. Did y'all hear it? I don't know if they heard it, but
Hey, that's scary.
that is scary.
I heard about that on TikTok.
What?
Like, people will leave and they're like, I think they're called mimics or something. Like,
Oh, hell no. That's what they were talking about.
So a video popped up of this person just riding a bike. Nothing strange at first, right? But look again. As he's biking down the road, you'll notice something unusual. He's being followed by birds and animals. They're all gathered around him, walking, flying, and trailing behind him as he rides away. People are calling him a real-life animal magnet, and honestly, it looks like it. The animals don't look scared or aggressive. They're just drawn to him like he has some invisible pull. The big question is, why? Does he feed them regularly? Is there a scent? Or is this something more strange? Whatever the case, it's giving me serious Dr. Dolittle vibes, and it's a superpower I'd love to have. Someone shared this video from New Zealand, and it's got the internet talking. They captured this strange creature coming out of the water. It kind of looked like a dolphin, but it was darker, smaller, and way more unusual. Turns out what they saw is known as the New Zealand long-fingered eel. These creatures are native to New Zealand and are actually critically endangered. They can grow over 6 feet long, live for decades, and spend most of their life in fresh water before heading out to the ocean to breed once and then die. People rarely see them out like this, especially coming up from the water like that. So when one shows up unexpectedly, it almost feels like spotting something out of a legend. Nature is full of surprises. A man and his dog were taking a quiet stroll through the woods when something strange caught their eye. Curious, he pulled out his phone and started recording, hoping to capture whatever was looking around. As he panned his camera slowly through the trees, it happened. Out of nowhere, a dark, humanoid shadow emerged from behind one of the trees. It was pitch black, almost like a moving silhouette with no real form. The moment the man spotted it, he freaked out and took off running, his dog right behind him. Watch the footage again. There it is. A shadow that seemed to have no source, just standing there, then vanishing as quickly as it came. Now, while some skeptics are calling this edited footage, others believe the man may have a real encounter with a shadow person, one of those mysterious entities that people report seeing during sleep paralysis, in haunted places, or in the deep woods like this. What do you think he saw? People have been debating whether what we're seeing here is real and, if it is, what exactly we are seeing. In the first clip, we see what looks like a glowing object descending from the sky. There's no visible form, just these beautiful flowing lights. The lights shimmer and pulse, almost dancing, before the object vanishes behind a building. Then there's a second clip. This one shows a strange object hovering, and from it, a bright blue laser-like beam shoots up into the sky as the object moves slowly. So what are we watching here? Some believe these are UFOs, maybe even extraterrestrial probes. Others say it could be a drone show, part of some futuristic display. Of course, skeptics are calling it just CGI, saying it's too perfect and too surreal to be real.
But if it's fake, it's very well done.
A man had gone out for a relaxing day of kayaking when he spotted something unusual swimming close to his boat. At first, it looked like a massive fish with a fin slicing through the surface of the water. He even assumed it had to be a whale. It was just that big. But as more of the creature came into view, it became clear this was not a whale at all. Turns out what he'd encountered was actually a basking shark. And while the word shark might immediately set off alarm bells, there's no need to panic. This shark is not dangerous. The basking shark is the second largest living shark species in the world, only behind the whale shark. But they are completely harmless to humans. These gentle giants feed on plankton, not people, and they're known for just cruising near the surface with their mouths open wide, filtering out food. Despite their enormous size and prehistoric look, they're calm, slow-moving, and more curious than threatening. Still, imagine being out in a kayak alone on the water and seeing the giant fin pop up next to you. Even if you knew it was harmless, it'd still be scary. By now, most of us have heard about the direwolves that were brought back from extinction. Everyone is talking about it. And it's no secret that scientists are also working on re-engineering the existence of mammoths and other long-gone species. But now, in China, researchers have made yet another mind-blowing discovery. They've uncovered what they believe to be a fossilized embryo. Not just an embryo, this one belonged to a dinosaur. Yeah, an actual dinosaur. The fossil, discovered back in the year 2000, has been sitting in storage preserved until just recently when scientists finally took a deeper look. What they found left them stunned. It's a nearly intact dinosaur embryo estimated to be around 72 million years old. And here's where it gets even more bizarre. The embryo seems to belong to a feathered dinosaur species likely related to early birds. The creature was curled up inside its egg in a position almost identical to how modern-day bird embryos rest just before hatching. It's eerie familiar. Now, with today's level of genetic engineering and cloning advancements, you can probably guess what some researchers are thinking. Yep, bringing it back. We're getting dangerously close to making real-life Jurassic Park a thing. The big question is, just because we can bring back extinct apex predators, should we? This footage was taken from the black box camera of a car. The owner had been driving home late one night when something caught his eye, something up ahead on the road. At first, he brushed it off. It was dark, his eyes were tired, but later curiosity got the better of him. He retrieved the footage from his car's dash cam, and what he saw left him completely shaken. Right there on the video was a dark figure crawling across the road on all fours. The footage is grainy, of course, and the night is pitch black, but the shape is unmistakable. It moves low to the ground, not walking, not running, but crawling. Now, theories have been flying ever since the video was shared online. Some people say it was just a shadow or a reflection caught by the camera in the darkness, maybe a trick of the headlights, but others aren't so sure. A good number of viewers believe it could be an apparition, something paranormal. Then some have taken a darker route, suggesting that this may have been a cryptid, perhaps a skinwalker, a crawler, or an unknown creature. Whatever it is, it wasn't just the camera that saw it. The driver did too, and that's what gets you thinking. Bread is one of the most common food items you'll find in every household, and you'd think that with how simple the ingredients are, bread would be one of the most authentic foods out there. But apparently, that's not the case anymore. Just like how fake and heavily processed foods are flooding our shelves, bread has not been spared. A video recently shared by a woman shows just how strange things have gotten. She bought a loaf of bread, just regular store-bought bread, but watch what happens as she squeezes the slice tightly in her hand, expecting it to crumple or tear like fresh bread should. But it didn't. Instead, the bread slowly unraveled back into its original shape, almost like it was made of foam or some kind of stretchable plastic. It looks less like food and more like a plastic bag that got wrinkled and then smoothed back out. This has led many to believe that the bread we're eating might contain microplastics, tiny invisible plastic particles that have somehow made their way into food. Not only are they not meant to be consumed, but they can also be extremely harmful to our health. And if you're ever feeling suspicious, here's something to try. Notice how most store-bought bread barely goes bad. It just sits there for days, sometimes weeks without molding. Why? Because all of the preservatives, additives, and chemicals packed into it. At this point, can we even call it bread anymore?
Bread, it should stay. Why the is it coming back to life? Just give it a second. It's pumping back up. It's pumping back up.
A couple had just moved into a new house. They didn't have any kids, and for the most part, things were quiet until one evening something unexplainable happened. The wife was walking through the hallway, just going about her usual routine, when she suddenly stopped in her tracks. Standing there in the dimly lit corridor was what looked like a little girl, just staring at her. She was stunned. They didn't have children, there was no one else living in the house, and yet right in front of her was a small girl in a white dress with long black hair that hung below her shoulders. Shaken, she quickly took a photograph of what she saw and later showed it to her husband when he got home. He didn't know what to say, but the figure was right there. Even after running the image through several filters and enhancements, the girl remained in the photo even clearer now. This wasn't just a smudge or shadow, it was distinct. It looked real. Some people online suggested the house might be an old building, and it could easily carry the imprint of someone from its past. Maybe what she saw was the spirit of a child who once lived there and never left. So what do you think? What exactly are we looking at here? At first glance, it appears to be a white furred creature with the body of a rat and the face of a monkey. Its fur is snow white and its face has this oddly human-like quality, especially around the eyes and nose. It's strange, almost unsettling. People online are divided. Some are convinced this is just CGI, but others aren't so sure. The movements all look a little too real. And with how far science has come, especially in genetic engineering, is it really that impossible? Let's not forget that scientists today are editing genes, reviving extinct species, and even mixing DNA to create hybrids in controlled labs. So who's to say something like a rat-monkey hybrid isn't real? Whether it's a hoax, a leaked lab creation, or something we're not meant to know about, this creature raises a lot of questions. So what do you think? My vanilla ice cream lovers, where are you? You might want to sit down for this one and maybe set that cone aside just for a second. Here's the deal. Scientists have been working on a way to make more vanilla flavor for all our ice cream cravings. Sounds great, right? Well, hold that excitement because it's about to get weird. They've apparently figured out how to turn plastic waste, yes, actual garbage, into vanilla flavoring. You heard that right. From plastic bottles to vanilla ice cream. Wondering how? They use E. coli bacteria. They're genetically modifying it to break down plastic and convert it into a compound called vanillin, which is the stuff that gives vanilla its signature taste and smell. And technically, it's safe, technically. But how comfortable are you knowing that your ice cream might have started life as a soda bottle? Look, innovation is cool and all, but when we start turning plastic waste into food additives, it makes you wonder then if there is a problem. There's gonna be microplastic in there, which is very harmful to us. Now, before tasting ice cream, our minds would race with the thought of whether we're really tasting vanilla or recycled trash. So let me know what you think, because honestly, I don't know whether to be impressed or terrified. This next footage was shared by a couple, and it's one of those subtle but seriously creepy moments that just makes your skin crawl the more you watch it. They're on a regular video call. The wife was at home, just casually chatting with her husband. Everything seems totally normal. She was smiling and laughing until suddenly her whole expression changed. Out of nowhere, she quickly turns around. And it wasn't just a small glance. She whipped her head around like something startled her. Her husband, watching through the video call, saw it happen in real life and asked what was wrong. She said it felt like something had grabbed her hair from behind, but here's the thing, there was no one else there. You can even see when her hair lifted slightly in the footage. The woman did share that she'd recently lost a relative, which could explain what happened, but if it wasn't her late relative, then something else was in there with her that day. But what was it?
Cover my bag, alright? What the hell's that? Wait, that on the floor. Where? Right there.
Two men had gone to explore an old, abandoned building. Now, this wasn't just any building. It was rumored to have been built over an ancient Native American burial ground. To make things even creepier, some say the former owner dabbled in the occult. The men had their camera gear and flashlights ready as they made their way through the dark. But then, the atmosphere shifted. They started hearing noises. It wasn't wind, it wasn't creaking wood, it was something moving. As they turned the camera toward one of the doors, everything changed. You could actually hear both of them gasp, and then they bolt out of there at full speed, completely spooked. So what did they see? Well, let's slow it down and take a closer look. At the doorway, crouched low, was something tall and unnaturally thin. The figure looked like it was trying to duck under the frame. It had what seemed to be a draped white cloth over its head and body, almost like a veil, but there was something about its proportions that didn't quite look human. You'd miss it if you blinked. The camera moves fast because, honestly, the cameraman was clearly terrified. But now here's where it gets interesting. Some people say this was a spirit or entity, maybe something summoned by dark rituals. Others believe it's tied to the history of the land itself, like a restless spirit guarding the burial ground. But not everyone is convinced. One commenter claimed it was just a person under a white sheet, implying the whole thing was staged. But let's be real, if it was a hoax, it was done eerily well. The men's reactions seemed raw, like they genuinely saw something.
Cover my bag, alright? What the hell's that? Wait, that on the floor. Where? Right there.
We've got to be extra careful, whether we're out or even just chilling at home. Always lock your doors, especially if your front yard is open to the street. And this is why. A family shared this unsettling footage from their doorbell camera. In the video, a strange-looking person walks right up to their front door and puts their face close to the camera. But what freaked people out was their eyes. The pupils were glowing green and the irises looked sharp, almost like a starburst or even like a cat's eye. It didn't look human at all. And yeah, maybe it was a contact lens, but something about it just didn't feel right. The person didn't knock, they didn't say anything. They just stood there, glancing around like they were scoping the place out. And then they just left. Luckily, the door was locked, but honestly, if it hadn't been, who knows what would have happened. After this footage was posted, people in the comments went wild. Some said it looked like a person on something, but others said it wasn't human at all, that it might be a reptilian. Whatever it was not just passing by. These days, when people hear satanic worship, the first thing that usually comes to mind is something with strange symbols on their face, wearing upside-down crosses and cursing out Christianity. But back in the day, satanic worship was way darker than just edgy fashion statements. A group of explorers were out in a remote wooded area in California when they came across an opening in the ground. Curious, they decided to go in, and it led them straight into what looked like an underground facility. This place, according to locals, was once used as a satanic temple, and what they found inside made that pretty clear. All over the space were signs of disturbing rituals. Human remains, actual bones were scattered across the area. Some were even embedded into the concrete walls. The place was dusty, and strange symbols and writings were on the walls. But one of the eeriest things they noticed was the shoes. Lots of them. Old, worn-out shoes lying around in corners and along the walls. The rumor is that back in the day, victims of these rituals were kidnapped, used in sacrifices, and never seen again. So those shoes might have belonged to them. It's terrifying to think about, but it shows how deep and dark things may have once been. Nowadays, if satanic worship like that still exists, it's hidden.
Remember the next time someone laughs it off or says it's just a goth trend. Tell them that there are places out there that tell a much more sinister story.
We've got some very tricky footage that's been circulating online, and it has everyone completely torn about what it actually shows. The video captures this strange object just floating in the sky. It appears to be twisting and rising almost like it's alive. At the top of it, you can see lights that look almost like flickering flames, while the lower part trails off in this rope-like shape, almost like a tendril or a tail. Now, some people are saying it's just a balloon that caught fire, or maybe even a drone going down in flames. But the paranormal community thinks it might be something else entirely. Some believe this could be a jellyfish UFO, which is a type of unidentified flying object that just looks organic, almost like a deep-sea creature floating through the sky. And honestly, here's the strange part. If it was a balloon or a drone on fire, it should have fallen, but this thing stayed up, floating steadily, even pausing mid-air at one point as if it was controlling its movement. It didn't behave like something crashing. So what do you think? Someone visited a graveyard and ended up capturing something unusual. As they slowly panned their camera across the quiet, somber cemetery, they caught something that didn't quite belong, something that sent a chill down their spine. There, right at one of the graves, was a figure. It appeared to be someone or something sitting directly on the grave. The figure was hunched over with its back turned to the camera. It looked like it was draped in tattered dark cloth, almost like old burial fabric. Its head was bowed low. The figure never reacts, never turns around, and before anything else can happen, the video ends. So what exactly did this person capture? Was it just someone grieving quietly at a loved one's grave wearing layers of clothing? Or was this something else entirely, like a spirit maybe? Someone shared this wild video they took one night, just as a storm seemed to be rolling in. You can see the clouds overhead are thick and swirling, the wind is picking up, and lightning is flashing through the sky. But then, something strange happens. As the lightning lights up the night sky, a massive dark shape appears above the clouds. Take a close look. It's not just any shape, it looks like an upside-down pyramid hovering in the sky. It's not just some blur or smudge either. The outline is sharp, it's solid, and it's just there, floating and unmoving. The paranormal community went wild over this. Many believe what we're looking at is a cloaked UFO, something hiding in the sky and only revealed for a brief second when the lightning hits. But not everyone's convinced. Some skeptics claim this could be edited footage. So what's the truth? This footage was taken in the Kremlin in Moscow, and what witnesses saw that night left everyone stunned. Hovering silently in the sky was a massive black pyramid-shaped object, and no, this wasn't the first time something like this has been spotted. A documentary even covered this phenomenon, showing the object from multiple angles, and here's where it gets even weirder. Similar pyramid UFOs have been reported over China, the Pentagon, and even above a US warship. That's not just a coincidence. To many, this is proof that what we are seeing isn't human technology. People are starting to believe that these could be aliens, possibly the same beings who were behind the construction of the pyramids around the world. What do you think? Is this just secret military tech, or are we seeing something extraterrestrial? Some guys had gone out to film something, maybe just a casual video or some kind of skit. One of them was behind the camera while the other crouched down in front, maybe getting into position for a shot. Everything seemed normal at first, but then, suddenly, the guy on the ground jumps up and bolts, sprinting full speed away from the trees behind him. It looks random at first until a few seconds later we see why. Out from the trees, something massive comes charging straight toward him. It's huge, tall, and dark. The figure looks like a classic Bigfoot, towering, bulky, and covered in hair. But the moment is so brief that you can only catch a quick glimpse before the camera begins to shake violently, because the guy filming also starts running for his life. There's no audio in the footage, but you can almost feel the panic. Now here's the thing. We've seen countless Bigfoot sightings and blurry videos over the years, and this one fits that pattern, short, sudden, and just eerie enough. Some viewers believe it's one of the most genuine sightings out there, arguing that the fear and reactions look way too real to be fake. But skeptics are not convinced. They say it could easily be staged, with someone in a costume running out on cue. But as always, the clip ends before we get a clear view. So what do you guys think? Is this just another fake Bigfoot video, or did these guys catch Bigfoot on camera? There are people who seem to invite strange things into their lives, and this man might be one of them. He didn't just stumble into the paranormal, he embraced it. According to his videos, he began practicing dark magic and he filmed everything. In these clips, he's constantly holding onto a strange-looking doll, almost like it's part of a ritual. His eyes turn a ghostly white, and he starts to levitate, all while murmuring something low under his breath. Something no one can quite make out. Ever since he started these rituals, things have never been the same in his house. The doll is always near him when the unexplainable begins. It never just sits still. Sometimes it gets dragged across the floor by something unseen. Other times it falls onto him or hits him as if something is trying to get his attention, or maybe warn him. And then there's the mirror. He has this full-length mirror next to him during these sessions, and for some reason it's always involved. People have seen it fall off the wall with force and crash onto the ground, only to suddenly stand upright on its own moments later. No one touches it. There's no explanation. What's even more unnerving is that it's always just him. He's alone, filming these moments, never looking scared, just destined, like he's getting used to it, or like he's not alone anymore. Many viewers believe he might have brought something into his home, something that isn't leaving, something connected to the doll or the mirror, or maybe even him. Is he performing actual rituals that open doors to another realm, or is this just staged? Let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention: the US healthcare system. It has become very evident these days that the system is flawed, but it isn't by accident. It's built that way. While people struggle to afford medicine, doctor visits, or even basic care, the money flowing through the system isn't going toward fixing any of that. In fact, around 95% of the income made by US healthcare corporations isn't spent on improving it. Instead, it's being pumped into shareholder payout and has been summed up to $2.6 trillion over the past 2 decades. Shockingly, about 70% of that cost is being covered by taxpayers. That's right, your money is helping fuel this system, but instead of improving healthcare for everyone, it's mostly enriching investors. And sure, not every shareholder is a billionaire, but many are middle-class people with retirement plans, mortgages, or student debt. But the system prioritizes profits over patience. And we're all paying for it. Next, we have another security camera that appears to have captured a strange encounter. Two men were walking and appeared to be engrossed in conversation as they strolled freely. Suddenly, a beam appears from above, whisking away one of the men in a flash. It reminds me of those scenes from alien abduction movies. His left-behind friend, who noticed this, becomes scared, looks around, and starts to run. But where can he really go if there are aliens abducting with such efficiency and speed? This isn't the end of the encounter, however. After a while, the guy who vanished reappears sitting on the ground. He looks around in confusion, appears scared, and proceeds to stand up and run as well. Could this be one of those alien abduction cases where they took the wrong person and returned him, or could they have done something to him, just like we tag animals and then let him go? If this footage is real, then it's indeed very disturbing. Don't you agree? Our next image, which is a Trailcam image, captures a rather strange creature. The owner of the Trailcam was pretty shocked to spot this creature. It looks like a deer, but not quite. Its snout is longer, almost like an anteater, but not as long as one. What could we be looking at? A deformed animal? Some paranormal enthusiasts believe that this is a skinwalker. These shape-shifting entities can assume animal forms. The belief is that sometimes these transformations don't go as planned, resulting in creatures that appear deformed or otherworldly. What's your take on this enigmatic Trailcam capture? A unique and potentially undiscovered species, or could it indeed be a manifestation of paranormal entities like the elusive skinwalkers? Imagine you go into an abandoned tunnel with a group of friends to explore, only to come face to face with this hideous creature, some kind of dragon-like monster of some sort. Well, stop imagining. The uploader of our next video apparently lived it out. In the footage, we see a weird-looking creature going after the one with the camera. The creature's skin looks dark, like an eel's. Its tiny eyes glow from the reflection of the light. It has a crown on its head and two antennas sticking from its sides of its mouth. The creature with tiny legs and a snake-like slither emerges from the darkness, approaching two men. If dragons existed, they may bear some semblance to this creature. In fact, one person in our team believes it's the real deal, but if you ask me, it just looks like a case of very good CGI. Impressive, don't you think so? Well, it seems like we've stumbled upon a digital mystery. In the vast wilderness of the internet, it's not uncommon to come across intriguing footage that leaves us scratching our heads. Take this, for instance, a Trailcam recording that appears to capture a creature that's not quite like anything we've seen before. At first glance, it might resemble a monkey, but upon closer inspection, there's something curious about its appearance, and then the aha moment hits. It's all a clever work of CGI. They almost had us there, didn't they? It's a testament to the incredible strides in technology that continue to blur the lines between reality and imagination. In a world where CGI can make the unbelievable look almost believable, it's no wonder that we occasionally find ourselves caught in the web of digital artistry. What are these strange cloud formations? These clouds are making strange formations and moving pretty fast. Possible atmospheric phenomena that could create unusual cloud formations include the presence of certain weather conditions, wind patterns, or even the convergence of air masses. In the case of forming tornado suspicions, it's crucial to note that tornadoes are associated with specific atmospheric conditions, and they typically manifest in severe weather situations. What are your thoughts on this atmospheric mystery? Do you lean towards a natural explanation, or does the phenomenon evoke a sense of the unexplained in you? Tell us in the comment section. This security footage was sent in by someone who noticed something rather odd happening in it. A woman appears out of nowhere holding bags. It's the kind of spectacle that prompts us to wonder if ethereal entities are strolling incognito amongst us. You have to wonder where she's coming from and how often she does this. Also, is she the only one, or are there more? These are questions that naturally come up when you see the clip. Of course, it could be a case of edited footage, but it has not been proven if the footage was tampered with or not. Until then, Aaron and I believe this might be the real deal. But what about you? Are there aliens living among us? Do you have first contact? Anyone who is interested in extraterrestrial life would have heard these questions. But are they questions we have answers to? Well, our next clip will suggest so. Take a look. Yeah, you're actually seeing right. Those are alien-looking creatures standing in what looks like a farm area or a barn, staring in the direction of the camera. We don't have the history or background of the footage, but it's being paraded on paranormal platforms as being footage of aliens. What do you think? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Our next capture takes us to Oregon, where we have another sighting of the elusive Bigfoot. Take a look. Now, this capture is a bit more convincing, and that's a big, hulky build. This was captured in one woodland area in Oregon. The uploader refuses to share further details, but imagine running into this while exploring the woods. You'd definitely not be fine for a while. Do you think I'm being overly dramatic comparing this with the previous one, or do you think the previous one is more convincing? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Next, there's more mysterious action, but this time it's in a parking lot. Someone notices a strange creature running fast behind a car like it's on a mission. As it rushes, it goes straight for cover under another vehicle. When you take a closer look and slow down the footage, the mysterious being becomes clear. A yellow, small creature with a humanoid body. It clearly looks alien. The creature's purposeful actions, like choosing to hide under another car, hint at a level of intelligence and intentionality not commonly seen in regular wildlife behavior. What's interesting is that the creature seems to know the person is coming, showing a sense of caution or maybe a wish to stay out of sight. Interesting, don't you think? These strange creatures were captured in an abandoned shed in the woods. I know they look alien, but these are barn owls. Barn owls, Tyto alba, as they're also known in science, are medium-sized owls known for their unique appearance and wide distribution. They have a heart-shaped facial disc that helps them hear better. These owls live in various places like grasslands, farms, and open woodlands, and are often found near farms and barns, which is the reason for their names. Now, these barn owls, with their 2 feet firmly planted on the ground, do cut a rather unique figure. From a certain angle, one might even wonder if we've stumbled upon intergalactic species practicing their synchronized standing routine. I'm quite sure a lot of people have mistaken them to be aliens. Confession, I used to be one, but don't judge me, okay? I changed and I grew, and now I know their name. Speaking of creatures with pointed appendages, what do you think is happening with the antlers of this deer? If you've watched any of our previous videos, you would have caught me explaining how deer and other cervidae antlers are formed. I've also explained their shedding and growing process. To make sure you're being very good students, I'm going to ask questions instead of telling you what's going on. So, question number 1. What do you think is happening with the deer? Question number 2. Is this something normal or is the deer sick? Start your answer with the word deer so I know you were responding to this. The best answers get a shout out in our next video. I can't wait to see the kinds of answers you guys come up with. Stepping away from Bigfoot, we have a very disturbing capture. Take a look. What do you think this is? A rake, an alien, or some other type of cryptid? The truth is, it doesn't look like any of these creatures if you ask me. Sure, it's got the white skin and alien physique to go with it, but when you truly think about it, you realize that this creature looks like it came from a different realm or a world. Unfortunately, try as we might, we can't match it to any other cryptid we know. What do you think this is? Am I missing something? Have you encountered something like this before? Share your experiences and theories with us in the comments section. Take a look at this image. A female Amothamus spider and a nest of children spotted in Malaysia. Just look at how many babies there are. Amothamus spiders, also known as tarantulas, are notable for their often striking colors and intricate web structures. Female tarantulas are generally larger than males, and they are known to create silk nests or burrows to protect their offspring. Once the spiderlings hatch, they stay close to the mother for a period, just like in the picture, before venturing out on their own. Female tarantulas invest considerable energy into producing a large number of offspring, although not all of them may survive to adulthood. If you walked into a site like this, what would your reaction be? Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a big tarantula after you now, would you? Now let me take you to the mysterious streets of Bosnia, Europe, where a late-night drive turned into an otherworldly encounter. A group of people were cruising through the silent streets, the hum of the engine cutting through the quiet night. Suddenly, they brought the car to a halt. But why? Well, it was because of this. Hundreds of birds standing on the road. Now, it's not your usual feathered flock either. These birds seem to have organized a street takeover. No cars in sight, just the road filled with birds leisurely strolling and others standing, fixating their gaze on the approaching vehicle. What were the birds doing there, congregating in the dead of night? And why were they settled on the ground? Is there a reason they chose to abandon the high grounds? If any of you have answers, please share them in the comments section. In this footage, we are presented with an environment that appears arid and barren, devoid of the lushness typically associated with vibrant ecosystems. Yet as the camera captures the scene, our attention is drawn to a subtle movement in the distance, a dark figure against the stark backdrop. Could this enigmatic figure be none other than the legendary Bigfoot? The individual who captured the footage believes so. Many in the paranormal community shared the same sentiments. Some even point out that while it has a human-like gait, it covers more distance in a short time than a human could have, making them believe that it's a Bigfoot. Personally, it's hard for me to put my finger on it, but it looks most probable. The only issue here is that Bigfoot isn't known to show itself in the open like this creature's doing. Could it be a human in a suit, or is this the real deal? Share your thoughts with me. I'd love to hear them. In the heart of the woods, where locals' beliefs intertwine with mystery, we delve into a chilling tale. A video unfolds revealing two bikers relishing a day of camaraderie on their bikes, yet their day takes a sudden dark turn when they stumble upon a trap set to ensnare them. With quick reflexes, they avert danger, but questions loom. Who would scheme against them in these depths? Is there a malevolent force at play? A part of me feels not. Perhaps someone set the trap to hurt someone and they were just unfortunate, or rather fortunate, to run into it. They might have disarmed the trap at that point in time, but what's to stop the person from trying again and using a thinner and more invisible wire? If you're enjoying this episode and haven't hit the like and subscribe buttons already, this would be a good time to do so. Thank you for doing so, because it means a lot. Next, let's journey to Ghana, where we meet Abdul Samed, a man standing at an impressive 9 feet tall. Born in 1994 in the northern region of Ghana, Abdul Samed's towering stature is attributed to the endocrine disorder acromegaly. This condition arises from an excess of growth hormone in the body. Now, ponder with me for a moment. Here's a living giant amidst us, and reports of individuals with extraordinary heights echo from various corners of the globe. Could these individuals be descendants or, in some way, connected to the mythical giants that have captured our curiosity? Or is it really nothing more than just an endocrine disorder as stated earlier? Share your thoughts. Speaking of aliens, let's dive into this intriguing encounter. On the eerie night of September the 22nd, 2004, in the quiet halls of an abandoned office in Rayon, Nuevo Leon, a diligent security guard with a trusty Kodak DX4530 camera embarked on a routine patrol, ensuring that all was calm in the deserted workspace. The guard had no clue that the calm he was enjoying that night was about to be disrupted. As he wandered through the dimly lit corridors, a sudden chill ran down his spine. There, in the pale glow of his flashlight, stood a bug-eyed alien. The extraterrestrial visitor possessed the unmistakable features of popular lore: a huge head, black eyes, and a pale humanoid body. As soon as he managed to take a picture of the creature, it fled, leaving the security shocked with nothing but his picture to show of the encounter. What would you have done in such a situation? As we ponder over whatever creature was out there in the woods, let's take a look at this footage of a creature we all know very well. But for those now joining us, this creature right here is Bigfoot. These paranormal creatures, with features reminiscent of both apes and humans, are said to inhabit the mountains and woodlands. This footage was taken of the said creature on a Trailcam. This dark-furred behemoth, standing at a towering 7 feet or more, gracefully ambles across an open field with its head lowered. There have been times when people stage Bigfoot sightings just for fun, be it a person in a costume or CGI. In this case, it looks like a person in a costume. What do you think? Looks like today's footage is just a series of mysteries, because even in our penultimate clip, we have a mystery that we have no answers to. A property owner who just bought the land decided to drive the drone over his land to check it out. Once the drone was airborne, he began scanning the area, and that's when he stumbled upon something truly unusual. In the middle of the woods on the property was an abandoned house. The sight of the house in the middle of nowhere, far away from civilization, creeped him out, and he started asking questions. Guess what? No one knows whose house it is. One thing is for sure, though, it's abandoned and falling apart. Who knows what might have happened there? Personally, this house gives me the creeps from those horror movies about an abandoned house in the middle of the woods. Nothing good ever comes of that. What in the world is this? A woman was seen walking hand in hand with a black-skinned humanoid creature with white eyes, scant hair, and 2 tiny horns perched on its head. This petite creature is more of a supernatural sidekick than a typical 6-year-old. Given the lack of alarm from people in the background, this must be a person in a costume or makeup, perhaps for a planned event, possibly for entertainment, art, or a specific theme. Events like costume parties, theatrical shows, or artistic performances often showcase elaborate and realistic outfits that can generate a mix of fear and fascination because of how lifelike and haunting they present. For a minute, I thought we had to start getting an exorcist. Thankfully, we don't. El Nino is safe. What would you do if you spotted this large spider in your home? This footage was taken from a home in Trinidad and Tobago. Most people say this is a Goliath bird eater, and Julius seems to think it truly is. For those like myself who were unfamiliar with it, the Goliath bird eater is among the world's largest spider species from the rainforests of South America. These spiders are known for their impressive size, with adult females growing their legs up to 30 centimeters. Despite their name, they mostly dine on invertebrates, occasionally capturing small birds, but not making it a regular part of their diet. If this is truly a Goliath bird eater in a Trinidad and Tobago home, it's a bit unusual as these spiders aren't native to the place. Yet the exotic pet trade has introduced various spider species to places where they wouldn't naturally be found. Do you think spirits like to mess with humans? Because that's the only plausible explanation for our next clip. In fact, take a look. The footage starts off with some odd smoky or mist-like creature forming on the right side of the vehicle. Within some seconds, the mist becomes rather solid and ran across the highway just before the vehicle got there. Bear in mind that this was recorded by the vehicle's dashcam, which means everything happened in basically a few seconds. The appearance of the being is ghostly and ethereal in nature, which leads us back to our question. Do spirits mess with humans? Was this mist messing with him as well? Why did it appear on the right when it clearly wanted to be on the left? Why didn't it wait for them to pay before crossing? Unless it wanted to be seen by them. But why? So many questions and yet no answers. Now, seeing this footage gives me the heebie-jeebies. If you were a pre-90s baby like me and grew up watching movies like Anaconda et al., you'd understand. Movies like that made my generation fear big snakes, but not Gen Z and some members of Gen Y. They enjoyed touching and helping snakes, which is exactly what we see in the footage. Here they are helping the snake cross the street. I guess that's a good thing because it helps preserve these snake species and keep their populations healthy. I can't even tell what species it is whenever I see a big snake. I just see an anaconda. To my snake enthusiasts out there, can you recognize the creature and tell us what exact species it is? Or was I right in calling it an anaconda? This security camera footage captures a peculiar moment as a glowing orb emerges from the woods, floats across the camera lens, and continues its journey into the distance. Unlike a conventional fire, the distinct characteristics of the glowing orb are evident in the footage. Such unexplained phenomena often lead to speculation and varied interpretations. The mystery surrounding glowing orbs has fueled discussions ranging from natural atmospheric occurrences to paranormal and extraterrestrial possibilities. What are your thoughts on this intriguing footage, a natural phenomenon, or perhaps a glimpse into the realm of the unexplained? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Back on the topic of giants, a giant three-fingered hand was found in late 2016 in a Peruvian desert tunnel. While some believe it could be a hoax, a physician's report states that the hand is biological and composed of skin and bone. X-ray images uncovered 6 bones in each finger, coupled with experts approximating the owner's height to be between 2.7 and 3 meters. This means that the finger does not match any recognized earthly being. So what could we be dealing with? To solve this mystery, radiocarbon and DNA tests will be performed to give a scientific spotlight on this perplexing hand. Until then, we can only speculate. What do you think they'll discover after this test? Alien giants or another species of advanced humans that used to live on Earth? Tell us what you think. Characters like Headless Nick and other headless characters from popular movies have given us a love-hate relationship with headless characters. But what would you do if you ran into one of those characters in person? Well, what you are seeing is an actual headless individual, or at least an individual that looks like one that was captured on a home security camera. Now, the homeowner, of course, was freaking out and decided to upload the footage online. Why, you ask? So we could confirm if this was real or not. Looking at it, what do you think? Real, or is someone just messing with her? For our next clip, we travel back in time to April 2019. What do you see when you look at the footage? There's a creature hiding behind the foliage, hoping it has not been seen. But you and I, alongside the individual who recorded it, can clearly see it. One question remains, however. What creature is that? While many answers may be subjective, I can't help but feel that we're looking at a Bigfoot trying its best to hide in plain sight. I know the video isn't very clear, but if you try very hard, you can see the creature's built in fur. The uploader was very sure it was not dealing with a bear or any other type of ape because they're practically not common or present in the area where he recorded the clip. That leaves only one culprit: Bigfoot. What do you think? A security camera captured this strange encounter on the road. In the clip, a white car drives from the right side to the left and disappears. Did you see it? Take a look at it again. Did you see that? A ghost figure emerges from the left side approaching the car, but vanishes midway. Now let's entertain the skeptics who might chalk it up to a mere optical illusion or camera artifact, dismissing the possibility of a paranormal encounter. However, some believe that the translucent appearance and purposeful movement seem to defy mere optical illusions. As the ghostly person materializes and then dissipates, the footage leaves us to contemplate the thin veil that separates the realms of the living and the supernatural. What are your thoughts on this mysterious encounter? A ghostly apparition, an optical illusion, or something else? Take a look at this strange creature. It looks like some sort of bug, but instead of having legs, it uses tentacle-like appendages to propel itself forward. It's not your typical Earth critter, that's for sure. Now, I'm left wondering if we're dealing with some extraterrestrial visitor or if it's just a species we haven't stumbled upon yet. I want it to be an alien, but who knows? This could actually be some previously unknown animal species. What do you think? Next, we've something we can all recognize. In fact, take a look at the footage. Now, it starts off as very uneventful, but after a few seconds, just around the side mirror of the vehicle, we see some eyes peering out. Now, as if having eyes appear from nowhere when you're sleeping in your vehicle in the woods was not scary enough, when you pay attention to the eyes that appeared, you realize that they're not human at all. In fact, they look like they belong to a wild creature, most likely a canine or wolf creature to be specific. But how's that possible? The angle at which those eyes appear make it evident that they most likely and definitely belong to a humanoid. But wolves aren't humanoids now, are they? So what exactly are we dealing with here? If you've been on this channel for a while, then I'm pretty sure you should have an intelligent guess by now. My team and I believe we could be dealing with the legendary Dogman. The individual filming adds that there's actually more than one Dogman creature and states that the howls we hear in the background are from the others. The vehicle shakes a bit, and our guess is that the creatures are responsible for it. The man lives through, so we can confidently state that he makes it out alive, but what do you think of the whole thing? Do those eyes truly belong to Dogman? Are we reading more meaning into something we shouldn't, or is the man simply playing with our intelligence? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Enjoy this beautiful footage of a lynx cat and tell us something that catches your fancy about these cats. Step into the eerie tale of Hanchurch Woods, UK, where in the chilling grasp of November 2011, a photo surfaced unveiling a spectral figure of a lady. The ghostly lady in question appears to be wearing a hat. According to the owner of the image, there was no one smoking or vaping around, and before you reach for your skepticism, the image is also said to be 100% original and untouched after being reviewed. This means that there's no digital trickery involved. Images like this make you ponder the existence of the supernatural. What's your interpretation of this ghostly apparition in Hanchurch Woods? A genuine paranormal encounter, or perhaps an optical illusion with a spooky twist? This trail camera image reveals what appears to be an alien creature in the middle of the woods, adding to the growing list of reported alien sightings around the world. The intrigue and curiosity surrounding such phenomena have become increasingly commonplace, with stories of extraterrestrial encounters becoming a familiar part of the global narrative. The image prompts contemplation on the possibility of otherworldly beings making appearances in our midst. While skeptics may attribute such sightings to various factors, the allure of the unknown continues to captivate those fascinated by mysteries beyond our understanding. What do you think of this capture, though? A potential glimpse into the realm of extraterrestrial existence, or another hoax meant to mock us, the believers in the paranormal? For our next footage, we visit Mother Russia. Take a look. What you see on your screen was actually captured by some school children who were out in the woods doing what young boys do. They expected to be alone, but unbeknownst to them, they were actually invading the space of a creature that resides in the area. From the footage, we can see it moving in the background. The young kids believed they met the Yeti, and I can't fault them for thinking so because I was not there with them. One thing bothers me though. The Yeti is described as having white fur, but what we see in the footage clearly does not. This leaves me conflicted. I'm currently wondering if our ideologies on the Yeti have been wrong all this while, or if the boys are simply lying so they could get some clout. What do you think? Now imagine setting up a trail camera to capture wildlife, and instead you captured this. Did you see that? Did you see them? Those odd-looking balls of light. The man who originally posted this could not seem to make out what he'd captured. After it was uploaded, the internet did what it does best: provide answers. What do you think that is? If you thought anything than a cat, you were extremely wrong. While it may look puzzling at first, anyone who's been around cats will recognize that those lights are nothing more than eyes belonging to cats at night. What do you think? Before you move on to the next clip, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment in the comments section. It goes a long way to help us produce more videos for you. Thank you very much for doing so, it means a lot. Moving back to today's episode.
Ya, teman-teman. Tuh. Oke, saya dapat. Harumnya.
This man came across a strange-looking creature in a cave. It's said that the creature is a cave gremlin. It was a miniature being with dark, beady eyes and a mouth with teeth sticking out. Many would have run at the sight of this creature, but the man took the creature home, cooked it, and ate it. Yes, this man ate a gremlin. That is one of the most bizarre things I've ever come across on the internet. Gremlins are often considered mythical creatures with various stories and legends attributing them with magical or mischievous qualities. Eating a potential mystical or unknown creature not only disregards cultural and mythical significances, but also poses serious health risks. Who knows what kind of diseases or toxins an unknown creature might carry? If this is indeed real, do you think people should show more respect for unknown and mythical creatures, or should turning them into delicacies be the acceptable norm? Share your thoughts.
Harumnya.
While out in the woods with a friend who was attending to some dried plants, a man started filming and panning his camera around. While we can't tell why he was doing it, we do see something unusual coming into view. Running pretty fast behind a tree was this strange miniature creature. The creature wasn't very far from them and seemed to be running away from the worksite. This creature was clearly bipedal and had largely oddly shaped ears. You can't make out the rest of its features. Some suggest it's an animal known for its ability to stand on two legs, with a small primate or even a kangaroo rat. Others lean toward a more fantastical explanation, a fairy tale creature like a goblin or a forest sprite. Given the short clip, it's hard to tell, but what do you think this mysterious miniature bipedal creature with large ears could be? Let us know in the comments. Fire doesn't just form out of thin air now, does it? If you answered yes, then how do you explain this? And yes, you are looking at some sort of fiery bubble that suddenly appeared in the sky, but just as quickly as it appeared, it disappeared without a trace. What could it have been? Well, no one knows. All we have are speculations, including our very own. Some suggest it could be a secret weapon that was being tested, while others think it could be a paranormal event. There's not much information to go on with, so it's hard to prove or disprove anything. Either way, what do you think we might be dealing with? Tell us in the comment section below. Our next captcha sends us all the way to Japan. And no, it's not about shinigamis or ninjas or anything of that sort. Instead, it's about crop circles. Bet you didn't expect that, but what comes to mind when you see these crop circles? Aliens, right? With all the alien buzz going on around, when I saw the captcha, I automatically assumed that they were left there by aliens, but turns out there's actually a logical explanation. These were not the result of anything alien, but simply put, the experiment of aliens. I mean some scientists in Japan. Based on documentation acquired from the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries in Japan, it was revealed that in 1973, a specific land area close to Nishinan City was designated for experimental forestry. Among the experiments conducted in this area, one of them aimed to assess the impact of tree spacing on tree growth. The result of the experiment is what you see on your screens. Disappointing, yes, but at least we have answers. Unlike our next clip. I just don't get why people put themselves through the torture of going into abandoned houses. They are likely hotspots for paranormal activities. Take a look at this footage, for instance. A woman goes into an abandoned building. She moves from room to room until she gets to one of the toilets. And this happens. In the toilet is black hair that looks like there's a head under the seat. The toilet lid suddenly slams open and closes as soon as the woman gets closer. It's as if the entity is warning her from getting any nearer. This makes her slowly back away from the place. Who knows what entities or spirits linger in these forgotten structures? Would you dare to explore an abandoned house, knowing what might be waiting for you inside? Ever heard of the Wiseman's Woods in England? No? Legend has it that in the past, druids used to perform rituals and sacrifices there, and because of this, the woods are known to harbor a lot of spirits. Recently, a young man shared this chilling video on his social media that has everyone talking.
Walking for like an hour now. It is pissing it down. These two are doing my head in. It's getting dark. I have no idea where the dog is. What?
He had taken his little siblings out for a walk in these very woods. They had been out for so long that it was starting to get dark, and he was getting increasingly frustrated trying to wrangle his siblings back toward home. In a moment of exasperation, he decided to record a video of himself and his siblings to capture their antics. As he was filming, his camera inadvertently caught something terrifying. Behind him, among the trees, there was a dark figure. It moved very quickly and seemed to vanish almost instantly. What makes this even more unsettling is that they were in the infamous Wise Man's Woods. Given the history of this place, it's not surprising that many in the paranormal community believe the figure in the video could be one of the many entities rumored to haunt the woods. Is that the case, though? It's hard to confirm it, but let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
It's getting dark. I have no idea where the dog is.
This next one is for the hunters, but before I show it to you, do you guys have any weird encounters when hunting? If you do, please share it in the comments. If you have pictures or footage, please mail them to classifiedcaptures@gmail.com and we'll gladly show them and give you the credit. Coming back to our footage, take a look. Do you see those beady eyes and the head it belongs to? This was captured by a hunter while out on a hunt. While it's easy to miss the first time, the hunter insists that this was a paranormal being that was tailing him whenever he came to the forest. It always appears and reappears in spots that are hard for him to see. On the day he recorded, however, he was intentional about finding it and taking evidence because everyone laughed at him whenever he spoke about it. Do you see it too? Do you believe it's real, or do you think out of desperation he might have resulted in CGI to prove his point? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Speaking of Bigfoot, do you know what they sound like? Well, we have footage from Rough Mountain, Colorado, where there are alleged Bigfoot vocalizations. Watch and listen.
What is that?
That was Bigfoot.
Seriously?
Do you hear those sounds? They don't sound like any animal you know, do they? The individual recording is convinced that they're from Bigfoot and tells the family member asking about it the same thing. And guess what? After they were done with their activity, on their way back, they actually came across footprints that were much larger than any associated with your average man or any other creature for that matter. They were then very convinced that they were dealing with a Bigfoot. Looking at these footprints and the strange vocalizations, do you think they may have really encountered Bigfoot? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Take a look at this. A man cuts out the EMV chip, the golden box on a credit card, and inserts it into the SIM card slot of his phone. Incredibly, it connects to a network. What kind of hack is this, and how is it even possible? EMV chips are designed for secure transactions, holding encrypted data that's only supposed to work with payment terminals. But here we see it behaving like a SIM card connecting to a mobile network. There's absolutely no way this is real. We say plants are living things. They can eat, grow, and die. However, they're not as mobile as animals and humans. Their roots plant them firmly in the soil, so walking plants are not a thing, or so I thought until I came across this footage. Someone noticed that the tree in his backyard just uprooted itself from the soil and left. Just look at this. There are no strings or machines around pulling it out. In the subsequent clips, we see a farmer attending to his small plants in a bed when out of nowhere the plants just dashed off. They remind me of the Ents from J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth, ancient tree-like beings that can walk and talk. Could there be a basis in reality for such fantastical creatures? If these sightings are genuine, they could signify an entirely new aspect of plant life that we have yet to understand. Imagine the implications for ecology and biology if certain plants could move to new locations. Okay, maybe I shouldn't get ahead of myself. The clips could very well be fake. What do you guys think, though? Imagine you're riding a bike and almost hit a young lady, and then she disappears when you turn around to make sure she's fine. That's exactly what happened to the cyclist you see in the footage. Spooked, he uploaded this online, and all who saw it had one thing to say. It's definitely a Yurei. The young man was Asian, hence the Asian paranormal. For my folks in the West, a Yurei is a spectral being from Japanese folklore and mythology. They're typically depicted as vengeful spirits of the dead and are associated with ghostly apparitions, hauntings, and supernatural occurrences like what the young man experienced. They're typically dressed in kimonos or funeral attires, which makes me wonder if what we saw was truly one. But if they're vengeful spirits, what did the young man do to attract one? Either way, what do you all think? Do we have Asians in our audience? Can you throw more light on this? Have you ever seen a mastiff scared? Well, the individual recording our next footage saw her pup truly terrified for the first time as they went through the woods, and you won't believe what they encountered. Yes, that, my friend, is a Bigfoot. At least, we think it is. Looking at what's on your screen, does any other creature come to mind? None, right? Before you jump in and say we are dealing with an ape, know that New Hampshire has no apes. That leaves us with only one plausible explanation. We are dealing with a Bigfoot. Do you think otherwise? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Scientists have allegedly discovered a 2-billion-year-old nuclear reactor in Africa. Alongside this discovery, they found that uranium has already been extracted from the site. This remarkable discovery has stunned the scientific community. Could ancient civilizations really be much smarter than we give them credit for? There are some who seem to think so, like this member of our paranormal community. The reactor, located in Oklo, Gabon, is believed to have functioned for about 500,000 years. It might have operated through a natural chain reaction using water as a neutron moderator, much like our modern nuclear reactors. Dr. Seaborg, a Nobel Prize-winning chemist who helped discover plutonium, stated that the conditions and the setup of the Oklo reactor suggest a level of sophistication that seems beyond what we previously believed ancient humans could achieve. Is there a chance we're just repeating their lives and possibly making the same mistakes they made that made these technologies disappear from our history books? A part of me thinks so, but what are your thoughts? In this next footage, a man is seen bent over a river, waving his hand in the water as a large creature approaches from below. I don't know if this is a death wish or what, but it looks like a giant crocodile to me. If it's a crocodile, the man's bravery or recklessness is astonishing. Crocodiles are powerful predators, and getting this close to one is incredibly risky. On the other hand, if it's just a large fish, the situation takes on a completely different tone. Perhaps the man is aware of what's really in the water and is just interacting with a curious but harmless aquatic creature. It's hard to say, but what do you think is happening here? This next video is rather bizarre. It was uploaded online by someone claiming to be half human, half beast living in the wilderness. They go by the name Alan. Take a look at this.
And super excited because I love to get
subscribe, just when people subscribe and like.
From the footage, Alan appears to be part human. You can see his hands and legs, although they're incredibly dirty. However, the voice sounds far too refined for someone supposedly living in the wild, don't you think? And here's the biggest question. Who gave Alan a phone? I mean, wild humans aren't supposed to be known for enjoying the luxuries of social media or modern technology, yet here's Alan out in the wild, casually vlogging his life. What do you think? Could this be real, or is Alan just a clever storyteller pulling a fast one on all of us?
And super excited because I love to get subscribe, just when people subscribe and like.
We found this one on one of our paranormal platforms dedicated to demonic animals. This was recorded by a young girl at a family's residence. Being a part of the social media generation that she is, she posted this and it went viral. She personally believed there was a demon in her ceiling and that what we see is the hand of the demon. Some in the paranormal community also picked it up and shared it, stating that it was a demonic possessed animal. While that sounds intriguing, Aaron thinks it's simply a bird that may have lost its way and ended up in the ceiling. When our conspiracy theorist chooses the path of logic, we're usually tempted to align with him. But what do you guys think? Moving on, what do we have here? An 8-foot-long centipede-like creature? How is this even possible? The paranormal community has been buzzing with this video and people are divided on what it really is. Some are calling it a cryptid, while others are convinced it's edited footage, one made from clever CGI or special effects. Looking at it, I'm tempted to join the AI gang on this. Before Julius went on his trip, he saw this clip and told me there were no creatures like this. I did my research and found nothing too. Our in-house video editor also stated that this was more 3D than it was realistic. Looking at it again, I get where they're coming from, and I believe this is definitely not real. Despite this assertion, there are some who are unable to tell if it's real or not. Some have even advocated that it be killed. The only reason they will do that is if they believed it was real. This has left me wondering, am I thinking it isn't real because the two skeptics on my team convinced me that it was not, or is that really the case? Share your opinion. Do you think it's real? Or do you side with us in believing this is nothing but CGI? Speaking of thoughts, what are yours on divine intervention? Because the story I'm about to tell you might just blow your mind. The title of the world's luckiest man goes to Frane Selleck. For those unfamiliar with the name, Frane Selleck is a music teacher from Croatia whose life has been characterized by unbelievable escapes and near-death experiences that seem almost too incredible to be real. His story is a roller coaster of extraordinary events that have left many wondering if divine intervention played a role in his remarkable survival. In 1962, Frane was on a train that derailed and plunged into an icy river. 17 passengers drowned, but Frane managed to swim to safety with only a broken arm and hypothermia. The following year, during his first and only plane flight, the doors suddenly blew off and he was sucked out of the aircraft. Incredibly, he landed in a haystack and survived with minor injuries while the plane crashed, killing 19 people on board. But it didn't stop there. Over the years, Frane's life was dotted with more miraculous escapes. A bus crashed into a river, a car fire that engulfed his vehicle in flames, being hit by a city bus, and another car crash that saw his vehicle explode after he just managed to escape. In 1995, while driving on a mountain road, his car collided with a truck, causing his car to burst into flames. Miraculously, he managed to escape without any serious injuries. 2 years later, he narrowly avoided another fatal accident when he was struck by a bus in Zagreb, walking away with minor injuries once again. The most astounding part of Frame's story came in 2003 when he won the lottery, pocketing nearly $1 million. After all those years of close calls with death, it seemed the universe finally decided to reward him. What do you think? Does Frame's story make you believe in the possibility of divine intervention, or do you think it's all just a series of incredible coincidences? This is definitely not a scene you see every day. A man driving on the streets of Valencia came across a shocking and eerie scene. In the opposite lane, cars were scattered all over. Some flipped upside down, others resting on their sides. It looked as if a tornado had selectively wreaked havoc on just one side of the road. What's puzzling is that there's no official information or explanation about what might have caused this strange event. Could it have been a freak weather incident like a sudden microburst, a localized windstorm, or something even more unusual such as a mass accident caused by an unexplained phenomenon? The footage has left many viewers scratching their heads. I tried to do some digging around but didn't have enough information to help me out. Does anyone have an idea what happened here? If so, can you educate us in the comments section? This next video comes from a backyard CCTV camera with motion detection. At first glance, it seems unremarkable. The footage captures a quiet night with a fence in view. Then, a leaf drifts down, triggering the motion sensor, and that's when something unusual appears. Orbs. They all spread out of view, leaving two faint glowing orbs floating in the air, one above and one below. They hover silently. Their movement is smooth, almost purposeful as they drift about the yard. Some dismiss this as dust particles or light reflections, while others believe it could be something more mysterious, spirits, energy, or unexplained phenomena. I think this is one I would want to hear your opinion on. What do you think is going on here? A driver on the highway got the shock of a lifetime when this came driving by. It was a truck with a giant, mysterious object strapped to its trailer. Honestly, I don't even know how to describe this thing. It's enormous, and it's hard to tell if it's metallic or something else entirely. The shape is bizarre, almost otherworldly. Naturally, the internet has been buzzing with speculation. One commenter suggested it might be a sculpture being transported to an art exhibit or a museum. But with all the weirdness out there these days, it's hard not to be skeptical. Could it be some kind of top-secret government equipment, a prototype for a new type of vehicle or machinery? Maybe it's part of a movie set or something. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes it so intriguing. There are some, however, who believe the whole thing is a hoax and a fake. What say you? Would you look at that? A table of pandas having a party. Very hilarious. Look at what the zookeepers have prepared for these fuzzy guys. 4 large pandas are sitting on wooden chairs around a table of food, munching away. Such an adorable sight to see. These pandas, with their big round faces and playful behavior, always manage to bring a smile to our faces. The zookeepers have set up a delightful spread of bamboo and other treats, making it look like a proper panda feast. It's heartwarming to see the pandas enjoying their meal, almost like a group of friends. This clip comes all the way from Europe, and it's got the paranormal community talking. They reported hearing strange aircraft noises in the sky, so they began filming. That's when they captured a black sphere silently floating across the sky. But what made this even more bizarre was the fighter jet trailing right behind it. The big question here is, was the jet escorting the sphere or was it chasing it down? Without more details, it's hard to say what's going on. While some members of the community are intrigued and trying to interpret the events of the clip, a few are skeptical that it's even real. This man, for instance, states that fighter jets wouldn't go after an orb because they couldn't capture it. For this reason, he thinks it's fake. Some believed it was real and stated they'd seen a number of clips like this. Personally, I have my reservations, but what do you guys also think? And just like that, we're back to another Ring camera capture, and guess what? There's a ghost in it. Confused? Well, pay attention. We start the clip with two men walking toward the road. By the time they get there and move to the other side, there's only one person. What happened to the other? Well, no one knows for sure. The funny thing is, the one who stepped out of the house, who was a mailman, didn't even notice there was someone there. It took the woman whose property it was reviewing her Ring cam tapes to see that the mailman might have run into someone who just disappeared in a thin air. She shared this online, and it quickly went viral. Many bought into the idea that this was a genuine ghost encounter, whereas others felt there had to be more to it, just not the paranormal kind. One person even mentions that it could be that the men are walking side by side, but it doesn't show on screen because of the angle. When it comes to things like this, I'd love to hear your opinions, so what do you think? Next, we've got a man who was exploring a cave mine thinking he was alone, but then he noticed something unusual from one of the mine portals. There, emerging from the shadows, was a humanoid dark figure with a glowing head. Naturally, the internet had a field day with this one. Some commenters quickly dismissed it, saying it was just a person with a headlamp. That's the rational explanation, and it makes sense. I mean, it does look like an explorer with a high-powered headlamp that may just be giving off an otherworldly glow in the darkness. But others were not so sure. They felt there was more at play. What if it's not just a headlamp? What if it's something supernatural? Mines and caves have long been the settings for ghost stories and legends. The combination of isolation and the unknown depths make them perfect breeding grounds for tales of the unexplained, and this could be one of them. This bizarre-looking set of remains was found deep in the forest. The carcass is massive and you can clearly see the ribs. However, when you get to the head, there's something truly alarming. The head looks strikingly similar to one of the raptors from Jurassic World. This doesn't even look like it was made. It's covered in dust and embedded in the forest's floor, indicating that this thing has been here for quite a while. Could these be the remains of a dinosaur? Perhaps one that somehow survived until more recent times, long after dinosaurs were believed to have gone extinct. Just imagine a dinosaur or something very much like it existing in our time. How did it survive? What did it eat? Where did it live? These are questions that scientists would be eager to explore. Experts in paleontology and zoology would need to examine the remains closely, analyzing the bone structure and possibly extracting DNA to determine what kind of creature this was. For now, we can only speculate, but one thing is certain: this discovery is extraordinary and needs a thorough investigation.
I got 5 chickens. I don't want any LED on them. None. Scan my shirt 5 times, buddy. 5 times.
This footage shows a bizarre and head-scratching moment captured at a supermarket. A man purchases 5 rotisserie chickens, but instead of letting the cashier scan the barcodes on the chickens themselves, he insists they scan a QR code printing on his t-shirt 5 times. He explained that he didn't want the LED lights from the scanner to touch his food. He believes the red light could somehow affect the chicken, but doesn't seem to realize the scanner still emits the same light onto his shirt. If there were any supposed danger from the LED lights, well, wouldn't he be exposing himself even more directly? It's an amusing interaction, but perhaps he really knows something that we don't.
Scan it. I did. Okay.
A home security camera captured the actions of 3 men attempting to steal a car. They approached the vehicle under the cover of darkness and quickly removed the covers from one of the headlights. Using an indicator wire, one of the individuals connected it to a handheld OBD2 device. This device allowed them to interface with the car's onboard diagnostic system, enabling them to start the vehicle without needing a key. Once they accessed the car's systems, they unlocked the doors and swiftly got inside. With little regard for the risk, they drove off without attracting any attention or facing any obstacles. Looks like that home may need extra security. On that note, let me make sure my car is still in the parking lot. Hold on a sec. I'll be back in a minute.
Good morning, guys. It is literally 5 a.m. and I opened the back door to put some dry food out for the stray kitties, and there are people feet printed all over my deck in the snow. Okay, I'm gonna open this. I'm not going out there. Do you see this? They start over there, and it like barefoot walks up to the table. There's nothing coming up to the... Maybe there is some coming up to the door. What? And I don't see any in the yard.
Next, we've got this clip from a woman who shared a strange and eerie encounter she's been experiencing at her home. She lives near the woods, and every once in a while, stray cats come to her doorstep, so she feeds them. One night, she woke up to the stray cats crying outside. Concerned, she went out to put some food out for them. That's when she noticed something unsettling. On her deck, where there was a thin layer of snow, there were prints, human footprints, lots of them. It looked like a group of people had come to stand there. The footprints led from the woods and then back into the woods. The footprints were human-sized, about the same size as her own feet. Not knowing what to make of it, she went back in and slept. The next day, she shared the footage online. A commenter asked her to contact the police, but she said she already did that, and they said since there was no break, there was not much they could do. A few nights later, she noticed the footprints again. They came from the woods and returned to the woods just like before. It's snowing out and very late at night. Who would be walking barefoot in the snow, and why were they always visiting her house? People online had all sorts of theories. Some suggested it might be a group of pranksters trying to spook her. Others thought it could be something more supernatural, a ghostly visitation, or even a mysterious group of people living in the woods. Whatever the case, we don't have answers, but she seems to be doing well. She even joked with one of the commenters on her page. It's our prayer that her life isn't in any danger and that she's as safe as she believes.
Do you see this? They start over there, and it like barefoot walks up to the table. There's nothing coming up to the... Maybe there is some coming up to the door.
A man by the name of Erwin Saunders claims to have captured pixies in the forest. Let's take a look at the clip he posted to support his claim.
He's been trying to hurl these across to his accomplice on the other side, and if I just move the camera across, you'll be able to see just there. He's gesturing back to him and saying, "Come on, throw another one."
In the clip, we see small humanoid creatures with green skin, bald heads, and pointy ears on the sides of their heads. Both were on rocks that were a bit apart from each other. One had these wooden contraptions on its back and had gathered some sort of fruits on it, while the other was making hand motions as if asking for some of the fruits to be thrown to it. It's very fascinating to watch and looks very real. Pixies are often depicted in folklore as playful and mischievous creatures, usually associated with nature and woodland areas. The details in Irwin's footage, from the appearance of the creatures to their behavior, looks very convincing. However, in this age of advanced technology and digital effects, it's essential to approach such extraordinary claims with a healthy dose of skepticism. On the other hand, the world is full of unexplained phenomena, and there's always the possibility that there are things out there that we have yet to discover. What are your thoughts on this?
There, he's gesturing back to him and saying, "Come on, throw another one."
A man was driving down a deserted street one night when his dash cam captured something truly unsettling. On the side of the road, there appeared to be a pale figure sitting cross-legged on the ground, its head bent downward. At first glance, it looked like a person draped in a white robe, motionless and eerie in the darkness. But as the car approached and passed by, the figure lifted its head and moved, revealing something truly bizarre. It didn't look human at all. Upon closer inspection, what seemed like a white robe wasn't clothing, it was the figure's own skin, stark and unnervingly white. So what exactly is this? A paranormal entity, an unknown creature, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts. While children in many parts of the world eagerly await the gifts Santa will leave under the Christmas tree, things look quite different in some regions of Indonesia. Take this clip for instance. We see men holding large sacks force this young boy into one as he kicks and cries in protest. But don't worry, this isn't a kidnapping. It's actually part of a Christmas costume. These men roam neighborhoods, and parents with naughty children invite them over to teach their kids a lesson. The men pretend to carry the kids away in sacks as a warning. However, they're careful not to harm the children, as you can see in the footage. One man even shakes the boy's hand gently when he stands in the sack crying. The idea is to scare the kids into behaving better in the upcoming year. This tradition is inspired by Sinterklaas, a Dutch Christmas tradition that also involves playful scare tactics to keep children on their best behavior. What do you think? Is this an effective way to encourage good behavior throughout the year, or a creative way to create childhood traumas? Yeah, that's a road flooded with water and ice. Just look at that. I hope the person who took the footage is fine, because the water is at the same level as the front mirror, and the car is submerged in it. Nature is scary. The sheer power and unpredictability of natural forces can be overwhelming. Floods like this remind us of how vulnerable we are to the elements. One moment everything is calm, and the next you're facing a torrent of icy water that could sweep away cars and pose serious dangers to anyone caught in its path. It's astonishing how quickly conditions can change, transforming a familiar road into a hazardous river. The combination of water and ice makes it even more treacherous, with the risk of hypothermia and the challenge of navigating through ice chunks. On second thought, is that even ice at all? And how hasn't the engine given up already? Share your thoughts. If you have got trypophobia, skip this one. You have been warned. What we have here is the fascinating and somewhat eerie sight of a mother Suriname toad. These creatures are truly unique in the animal kingdom, and what you're seeing is a remarkable example of their distinctive reproductive process. The holes on her back from which the baby toads are emerging are part of an extraordinary adaptation. Instead of laying eggs in water like most amphibians, the Suriname toad has developed a method that keeps her offspring safe and close. Here's how it works. The female Suriname toad lays her eggs, and then the male fertilizes them. But instead of leaving the eggs in the water, the male pushes them into the skin on her back, where they become embedded in individual pockets. Over time, the skin grows over these pockets, creating a honeycomb-like structure. Inside these pockets, the eggs hatch and the tadpoles develop, staying safe and nourished by their mother's body until they're ready to emerge as fully formed little toads. This process is not only unique, but also a bit unsettling to watch. Seeing tiny toads pop out from the holes in her back can be surprising and might make your skin crawl a little. Yet it's a brilliant evolutionary strategy, ensuring that the young have a higher chance of survival by keeping them protected during their most vulnerable stages. Creepy, but fascinating. This woman's chilling home encounter has left the internet divided. One quiet night, while feeding her cats and casually filming the moment, she caught something terrifying on camera. From the corner of the room, a boy suddenly appeared. He had a bushy afro hair, a plain white t-shirt and shorts. His eyes seemed to glow unnaturally in the dim light, and he just stood there silently watching her. The twist? The woman lives alone. She uploaded the footage online, claiming she had no idea who the boy was or how he even got into her house. Naturally, the video blew up, with some viewers convinced the boy was a ghost. But here's where it gets even stranger. Some eagle-eyed viewers spotted the boy's reflection on the floor. This small detail sparked skepticism, as popular lore suggests ghosts don't cast reflections. Could this be an elaborate hoax, or is there more to the story? What do you think? A genuine paranormal encounter, or just another internet stunt? Let's revisit a piece of footage that gained widespread attention back in 2024. A carpenter was using a drone to survey a wooded area, hoping to spot a mother bear that he had been tracking. However, instead of the bear, the drone captured something far more astonishing: this gigantic creature. As the footage plays out, you can see the creature walking gracefully through the footage. It took enormous strides that left many people questioning if it could actually be a human. The gait and stride length were simply too expansive to belong to a person, so whatever this being was, it was distinctly different from us. The footage sparked debates online, with enthusiasts praising it as some of the best evidence of Bigfoot captured on camera. Many argued that this sighting was credible due to the creature's distinctive features and the way it moved effortlessly through the trees. While it's impressive footage, I would want to hear your thoughts on it. No, my car is just fine, if you were wondering. These bleeding tree clips never get old. Just look at that. A man is cutting through a tree and gushing out his crimson red liquid. It's an astonishing sight, almost as if the tree is alive in a way we don't usually think about. This phenomenon is typically seen in a specific type of tree known as the bloodwood tree, found in places like South Africa. When cut, it releases a sap that resembles blood, adding to its mystique and intrigue. The crimson sap isn't actually blood, of course, but it does serve a purpose. It can act as a deterrent to pests and help seal wounds to protect the tree from infections. The sight of the red sap flowing from the tree can be both mesmerizing and unsettling, making you question the wonders of nature. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Someone came across this unusual creature on the ground in the park. It looked like a bat, but it was out during the day and seemed quite aggressive. It let out a strange growl, like squeak, as it tried to attack the man behind the camera. Finding such a creature during the day is unusual for a bat, as they are typically nocturnal. The aggressive behavior and the strange vocalizations add to the mystery. While bats can sometimes be active during the day due to illness or disturbance, it's rare to encounter one acting so aggressively. What do you think this creature could be? What is this creature walking across the ground? Its back is covered in what appears to be sharp, nail-like structures or possibly pieces of wood protruding from its body. These unusual features give it a distinct and intriguing appearance, almost resembling a tiny armored vehicle. As it moves, the textures and colors of its back catch the light, creating a captivating display. What could this fascinating insect be? Well, I did some research, and it turns out this isn't AI. Who knew? This little guy is a case moth. For those unfamiliar with them, case moth caterpillars, also known as bagworm moth caterpillars, are the larvae of moths that build protective cases out of silk and other materials. It turns out they're pretty common and are found worldwide. While they may look nice and interesting, some species can be destructive to plant life. Now that I know they're real, a part of me wants one. What about you? A man recently shared a pretty intriguing video he captured during what was supposed to be a normal day out with his kids. They'd gone to a park near the edge of a wooded area, just enjoying some family time, when something unusual caught their attention. While the kids were running around and laughing, the man noticed something strange moving behind the trees. He quickly gathered his kids and pulled out his phone to record. At first, when you look at the footage, it seems like nothing more than dense trees. The tree line is packed tight, almost impossible to see through. But if you really focus, you can spot it, something massive lurking just beyond the brush. While the camera is still pointing toward the woods, you can clearly hear a low guttural growl. It echoes just enough to chill your spine. The growl immediately sets off the family. You hear the children calling out to their dad in fear, clearly shaken. The entire mood changes in a heartbeat from fun and games to panic. Now here's where it gets wild. People who've seen this footage say that what's behind those trees isn't just an animal. Many believe it was Bigfoot or at least something close to it. Based on its size and the sound, they say it's way too big to be a regular animal, and judging from how it moved, some think it was trying to stay hidden. But whatever it was huge, and it definitely wasn't a deer. And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go with our clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't, well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
Thanks for someone